Hey, welcome back. I'm Carissa and this is my garden. It was just too beautiful out today that I had to get out here and film a video showing the beauty of winter. So here we go. And I wanted to say welcome to all my new subscribers. I thought that this would be a great time to give an overview of what my yard looks like. We are here just on the verge of zone 4 and 5 in between BC, Canada. And it is winter here in Canada. We have gotten about 18 inches of snow and it is gorgeous. As you can see, the evergreens are covered with blankets of snow, but it is a bluebird sky out there, which is just such a treat to look at. So I have grouped my yard into different categories and I will explain as I go where we are in my yard. So let's go. So here we are at the front of my house. You can see Willow, my cat, just behind me peeking through. We just moved to this property about 3 years ago and it needed a paint coat. So my husband won. He wanted this blue and I think it's actually quite lovely. So here we are at the front of our house and I will show you what makes up our front yard here. So when we moved in, this was just raw grass and my husband built this Allen block wall and capped it with a different color just to give it a different feature. And in here is mostly a shade bed. I have hellebores and bleeding hearts, just a nice mixture of different perennials. And then I've got this moon glow juniper growing right here. And it is covered in snow. Moving to the side, excuse the garbage. We had a clean out session on our garage right there, and that is the remnant left over that I need to go through. But here is a boxwood hedge, or the start of a boxwood hedge. I did a video making over this area with pavers, and then I added this boxwood hedge just around it just to finish it off. And then this is technically the front of our house. We do not use it as our main entry, especially in the winter. As you can see, we have quite a steep driveway, so it's more of a sledding hill in the winter. But this is where our garage is located. Okay, and then panning over here, we have some old junipers back there. It gives some nice winter interest, but unfortunately they are not doing well. So I'll probably be removing them this spring because this is the location of my new cottage garden and greenhouse just down here. So that's something I will take you along with in the spring. In front, I have some barberries, which are very deer resistant. They're not invasive in our area. I have a Carl Forester grass there, and then the sticks or branches you can see there is a black lace elderberry, which I really love. This little tree is the beginning of a crabapple, Thunderchild crabapple. We had one at our old house. My daughter and I loved it. The birds loved it, so we had to plant another one. So it's just starting to grow there. And then there is a swoop of a garden bed just right here before you get to this hill right here. There's a swoop of different hydrangeas, which I love and are actually more deer resistant than I thought. So I'm really enjoying having them here in our yard. The rest of this is just grass. And then we have another garden bed here. You can see the Allen blocks are almost all completely covered. But this is just another bed with peonies, a mixture of just different perennials. And then I've got two little Alberta spruces peeking out there, you can see. And this is a bird bath, which is not in use at the moment. And then I've got two little black pots just on either end of this garden bed. Okay, now we are in what I would call our side yard or backyard. It is just off of our house. If I turn around, our house is here. We were just here at the front yard, and then our deck is there. And then now this is technically our side yard, but it is used as a backyard. It is a great space. We love it. It's quite a huge area. The kids love playing soccer here. We have dogs which use this space as well. Wildlife comes through because you can see we have a forest behind us. So we have deer, coyotes, bears, squirrels, chipmunks, you name it, we probably have it. And they all come visiting here in our backyard. Okay, so starting on this side, we have apple, pear, and plum trees all in a line. And these were planted many years ago. I would estimate at least 20 years ago. And underneath, I planted some perennials that do well in full shade and full sun, because as you can see, these deciduous trees lose their leaves and they get a little bit more sun in the off seasons. So I have yarrow, dianthus, bee balm, rudbeckia, just to name a few, all growing here. And you can see I've left the twigs up. Echinacea is there as well. Heliopsis bleeding hearts, which I love, is there. And I've left the stems up so that the seeds, if they're of interest to any birds, can snack on them. Okay, and then moving this way, we have our vegetable garden, which is right behind this fence here. My husband built that gate and fence, and it keeps the deer out quite well. Unfortunately, the other sides aren't done, so the deer have figured out how to get in, but it's not a concern right now because by the time they figured it out, actually, the vegetables were done and no longer producing, but that's going to be a project for the spring. And then we have a little garden shed here. You can see I keep my little lawnmower here. We have a John tractor, small compact tractor actually, that does most of our grassy area, but I have a little one just to do the small bits that I store in there along with some pots and things. And then we have another bed here, which has daylily, Russian sage, more echinacea, lupin, and creeping thyme. It's quite lovely, and I really like how that little corner has filled in right there. There is a hockey net that we were using as a soccer net. And then this is what I've been calling my woodland garden right here. The fence is to keep my dogs from wrapping their leashes around the trees. It's quite a nuisance, and one of our dogs does dig as well. So the fence just keeps my dogs out of the areas that I don't want them in. So anyway, this area here also has some fruit trees. There's 2 plum trees and a cherry tree there. And then I've got a climbing clematis, a lot of feverfew, about 25 white peonies in this space. Oh, what else do I have? I have some irises, some perennial scabiosa. This area gets part shade, I would say, but then the full shade is on actually the hill. I've started planting all the way up here, and there's hellebore, fern, pulmonaria, all up here. And it's quite beautiful when it's summer. Okay, and then just beside there is what I would call my pond area. You can see these caps of the Allen block wall. They need to be cut and laid differently, but that sort of outlines the area of my pond. Let's get closer. All right, here's my pond area. Like I said, this is the Allen block wall here. The flat area there is where the water is, and then all around I have planted around it another crabapple tree here. This is a weeping blue spruce. This is a native Douglas fir, which we have growing wild everywhere. I'm going to be pruning it just to keep it a little bit tidier and make it look a little bit more like a cultivated variety. So that's a total experiment for me. All right, and then all along this hillside, about from here over, I've also planted with Russian sage, nepeta, echinacea, yarrow, bee balm, speedwell, a lot of different herbaceous perennials, and it looks quite beautiful. And we enjoy it just off of our deck, which is where our hot tub is located. So this area has seen some changes over the last year. We put a new deck on. It just needs its stairs still off of this area here. So yeah, the deck was a new addition. The pool house was there. Our pool is right here. You can see the slide. And then the hot tub is right there. We added this wood storage shed just here just last year. It's been really helpful to keep our fire nice and dry. And then panning this way, we have another bed. So the Allen block wall continues around the corner from the front of the house and then ends here. And in this bed I have a Susan Saucer magnolia, a clematis. I love clematis. And then I have a stilby, Solomon seal, and lamium in this bed, and maybe a few others. I just can't remember at the moment. So this is what makes up our backyard. Like I said, it is a great space, a lot of nice green grass for the kids to play in, a lot of fruit trees for us to enjoy the fruit off of, and definitely a lot of perennials, which I just love having, that add just lots of color and texture to our yard. Okay, there's not much to see here, but I just thought for curious minds it might be nice just to show just the overall location of our house and what is around it. So if you're curious, here is our pool area. It is very sad. in our Canadian winter. But we enjoy probably May to September, a lot of swimming in this pool and a lot of fun. We have a heater, so we definitely make good use of it, even though we are Canadian. So here are some of my pots. I've got a trio of pots here and in this corner here, and then some more on either side of this little shady area. And then on my deck, I plan to put some more pots just to add some color, because who doesn't want more flowers in pots all around? So yeah, this area has been really, really nice to enjoy, but right now it is just on pause. Okay, you've probably seen this area if you saw my winter sewing video. This is the side entrance to our house, but we use it actually as our front door because it's just a little bit more convenient. You saw the driveway over there. It's quite sloped, but this area, it is a little bit flat. So yeah, we prefer using this area. It's a concrete pad. I think it's about 20 by 20, this courtyard we call it. I don't know what we're going to do with this space. It was here when we bought the house, and I'm not really sure how to use it. I have a little bit of some raised planter beds here that I've been growing some veggies just to get, you know, herbs and lettuce a little bit closer instead of going all the way to the veggie garden. But that is about it. I haven't used this space for much. It's more of just like a walkway to our house. And then there is this cute little lattice archway, which makes it feel more like a courtyard. And then there are pots just behind me on either side, which I like to put, you know, petunias and dusty miller and that type of thing, all my annuals in these pots here. So yeah, that is our courtyard. And then if you turn this way, we have made it all the way. That is the front of the house. That's our little John Deere tractor, our little compact version of a tractor. We use it for plowing in the winter, and it is just insanely helpful with that job. So yeah, that would go to the front of the house. And then if I turn, this is the secret garden, which we will go through next. It is just an amazing spot. I really, really love it. And then turning around, we have a ice rink. My husband's project a couple years ago was to level out this area and get some concrete poured and put down some ice. My son and my husband love hockey, and they use it quite often. As soon as the weather's cool enough, they are out here flooding the rink and using it for their little hockey games. We have some twinkly lights, some Christmas lights that surround the rink, and it's actually quite beautiful to use this in the evenings, and quite magical to have this right in our yard. When it's not being used for a hockey rink, you can see we have a picket ball net right there, and so we will use it for picket ball in the summer, and then sometimes even basketball and floor hockey as well. Okay, and then from the rink, we have our steep driveway right there. And then this is our secret garden. And it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get in there right now, but I will do it for you. Usually you can see in between here, there is a little pathway. I think it's going to be difficult to get through, but let's do it. All right, I was unable to get in past that snowbank. So here we are at the front of the house, like I said, and this is another entrance to the secret garden. I made this beautiful little arbor. It's very natural with my dad a few years ago. So let's go. So everything you see here was planted either by nature or the previous owner. Oh, it's just so beautiful. People usually love or hate the junipers, but honestly, I like them. They fill up this space well. We have a ton of Oregon grape as well that grows. And then this is a cypress. And then, like I said before, a lot of fir trees, and then some pines, and a lot of Saskatoon berries as well. So it's not much to look at in the winter, but the first spring that we were here, we bought the property in October, and then the first spring that next year came, and I was just exploring one day, and irises popped out, crocus popped out, the lilacs started blooming, and it definitely felt like a secret garden in here. Just exploring what was planted before me and just enjoying this space. It is in the middle of our circular driveway. So if you are driving up our driveway, you would see some of the junipers and some of the firs, but you wouldn't know what's in here until you came on one of the trails and really started exploring. So that to me is the definition of a secret garden, and I love this space. Okay, and now we are here at the bottom of our property, and this is the flower farm. So here we have an arch for the bottom of our driveway, and then the flower farm is behind me. We added this deer fence to keep the deer out. It's done very well. It's done its job protecting all of my annual flowers. And I think it's actually quite beautiful to look at too. My husband really takes pride in what he does. Now this area here, it is outlined with some big pieces of timber, and I've got all different perennials to cut off for fillers. You can see the agastache right there, some acanthus, nepeta, just to name a few, are all in this bed. And these are deer resistant, and I just use them for fillers in my bouquets, and it's really beautiful to look at. Pollinators really love this area too, which I really enjoy as well. And just if I'm panning to the other side, you can see there's a bit of a trail that goes this way. And the rest of our property down here is pasture. The previous owners had horses. We don't have horses. We're not really interested in horses. They're beautiful, but just never really thought about them before. And then we've got, yeah, like I said, this trail here. My son likes to quad, so he will quad up here, go around, and then go up to the upper pasture where there is a tree house up there. So that's just a little lay of the land. And then here is our flower farm. There is a double gate so that we could get our tractor inside. And then it's about 33 feet by about 90 feet if you add up each of those sides. And then outside I have some more perennial beds. I used them as dahlias last year. This year I planted in a lot of bulbs, allium, iris, daffodils, and just different perennials in here. And then inside, I'll just get a little closer. So how we made the fence was your typical 3-rail, and then we added this wire mesh just to make sure the deer couldn't squeeze through, because they can. And then up here you can see there are 3 cable runs just to make sure they can't jump in there. And then this just finishes off the look. My husband thought it just looked nice just to have that on the top there. Okay, and then this area was newly added this year. And I call it my cottage garden and flower shed. There's a lovely perennial bed here with about 60 peonies and tons of different perennials growing alongside the fence. And then I've got big plans for this arbor, hopefully more clematis. I love clematis. And then there are 8 raised beds with more pollinator loving, deer resistant perennials for me to cut off of. So here we are. I've loved having this space. It is so fun to look at, to be in. I really enjoy it. Here's my shed. I use it for arranging my flowers, storing my supplies, and drying flowers. I love it. And on the side here is where I sell my bouquets. So here is a potting shed with a roof, and by noon it's in the shade, so I can put my bouquets here and sell them to my customers. This last area here is the location of our future greenhouse. I'm very excited about this. I mentioned in a previous video, it is coming in the spring. We are going to build it with our old windows. I'm so excited about it. Just off to the side of it is where our chickens are, and they are cozy in their little coop over here, even with the snow temperatures.